Hi, wonderful people. So, I'm making a video because I was reading comments and one of the person was asking, "Hey, Akvila, can you help my dog? She has these issues, blah blah, different kind of things." And this is not the first time I get like requests about like helping like animals, which is good. But at the same time, today I would like to share a few things that you can do yourself to help out your animals. And all it takes is a visualization. And if you can't visualize, then we can talk about soul contracts and different things like that. But I feel like this is the recent method that I started using, and like Rich told me about it, and there's like Jose Silva who's doing it as well. So basically, if you can see your dog or animal, kitty, or like whatever pet you have, or whatever animal, maybe you have a horse, maybe you have a cow, doesn't matter. There's a being that you like, and it can be a human as well. Doesn't matter. Like you can use it on animals, or on people, on planets, on your plant, anything. So let's say we're talking about a dog right now or a cat, because I had issues with my cat. Like my cat was going through stuff. So you basically know what the issue is. Okay, maybe there's issues with the heart, with the kidneys. Maybe they have a hard time walking. Maybe a person has a headache. Doesn't matter. Like there is an issue, and you know what it is. You find out like, oh, that's their stuff. I know that they're hurting. Or okay, maybe you don't have money to take them to the vet or like really know their issues, but you know that they are not doing that good. So let's say we either do know the issue or we don't. So what you do is like, okay, you see the animal, you see the person, you see the plant, you see the planet, whatever. You close your eyes and just visualize it. So let's say you are here, you're seeing yourself, but all around you in this white or dark space, you build your workshop. You can have all the latest technology, all the lasers and all the crafts and anything you can imagine all around yourself. Just give yourself all the tools that you can think of, and you can pick up like, oh, I've seen this in a movie, I'm just gonna pick it here. I've seen this in an anime, I've seen this in a video game. And wherever you've heard about something amazing, let's say there are devices where they're playing with sounds and a specific I think frequency can kill cancer. And there are people doing the research how they can put a speaker on your body and just like get a specific frequency where that thing will adjust the cells and bacteria and like really like beam it off and like it's gonna explode and stuff. So there are various technologies, and you can read up all on that on the internet or like watch TV or whatever. But you're just doing your own research and you find technology and techniques and ways that can actually be helpful on, let's say, on health level. And where it's food, where it's like doesn't matter, you just find things. And so you can use technology, you can use various techniques. Let's say you're working on tooth. I have crooked teeth. Like, oh, it doesn't look good. So what I would do is like, okay, I imagine my teeth getting straight. Like the end result, I want to have the perfect look. And I smile and it's looking beautiful. And like, hey, my mom doesn't complain about my looks. Oh, it feels good and stuff. So I heard like there's this lady who had crooked teeth, and she was imagining that every night she goes to bed, she closes her eyes and about to fall asleep, but while she was in the between place between, okay, I'm done with the day, and until she falls asleep, she would imagine a little dwarvens, little beings in her mouth, working and building her teeth and like putting everything together, and she would do it every single day, and next thing you know, 6 months later, her teeth are straight, white, and in the perfect shape. So there's that like visual stuff where, and you can also like look into Joe Dispenza. He's also working with like like a reticular activating system, and there are tons of ways and tons of techniques. So everything that you've heard about, you can actually use it. And so when you close your eyes, you can imagine your workshop, look at different tools that you can use. And let's say your puppy has a like arthritis, or maybe your puppy or cat has a heart issues, like heart issues, maybe something with kidneys. And so you visualize their body and you take the latest tech and beam that good stuff at their body, like at their heart or their kidneys. And you can imagine this like specific laser will take out all the bad stuff, will heal all the wounds and make them feel better. And you do this visual work. And so for me, I feel like the best thing is just like doing the technique and letting it go. Not worrying, oh, what if it doesn't work? I'm like working on it, but what if it doesn't work? No, it doesn't matter. You just like visualize the work, and then like you put your faith and trust in it. And let's say a person has a flu, maybe a cold, maybe they're not feeling good. So you imagine the person, and you can actually, let's say, you see their body, and their body will have darker spots. Maybe they have a headache, there's a darker cloud over their head, maybe they have a heartache, maybe they have different issues. They're literally darker like clouds or spaces or entity clusters in their body, and all you have to do is clean them out. How do you clean them out? Well, you can actually move this with your hand. You can imagine it going away. You can use, let's say, galactic vacuum or even a vacuum cleaner, like just like suck the stuff out from them. And then once they're clean from that dark energy, you fill them up with light, with good energy, with healing energy, and just fix their body. But the thing is, it's mostly like the visual work, and all you do is like, okay, you work on it, and the process is you choose a technique or something that's going to work for you. It doesn't matter if you use a laser, if it's going to be a galactic vacuum, if it's going to be sending your loving healing energy. You use something that works for you, that you understand, and something that you like. Just because I share a technique, you don't have to like, oh yeah, this is going to work, but I don't really, I'm not going for it. No lasers. I don't want to use technology and stuff. It's okay. Find something that you like and that would work for you. And then the most important part is like doing, like, let's say you're writing a story. Someone has an issue, and then you're working to heal that issue, and then you see the end result where they get better. So it's important to go with the story where you see their problem and you're going from they did not so good and you worked and now they're doing good. So visualizing everything from the beginning until the end, without triggering yourself where, oh, what if it doesn't work? Without having any negative thoughts, without looking at yourself, doubting yourself and all this stuff. No. You have to visualize and, let's say, work with yourself and like create that story, that world. Let's say it's like quantum jumping, where you're like looking into different reality, where the being that you're working with, where it's your pet, where like, it's someone you look at that being and you know their issue, but you look at the end result where they're doing good, and you move into reality where they're doing really good. So it's basically quantum jumping, where you see the end result, like where they're awesome, and you can bring it back here once you come back. So it's like you work with the story as in like their issue, and you're working, and it's basically a process where you build their body, you fix all the issues and stuff, and once you're done, and you let it go, and then you practice it daily or as often as you want. And so I'm not saying this is a miracle cure or anything, but it's one of the techniques that you can use and see if it actually helps your animals or friends or anyone. And so, like with me, my cat had issues. Like he had issues with his heart, with his kidneys and stuff. And so I took him to the vet, and the vet is like, well, he has 2 weeks. And so, yeah, I spent a lot of money, and like we had IV bags and we had different things, but still, like it was like, well, we don't know if it's gonna work. We can try and stuff. So what I did, like, okay, I'm gonna use the medical stuff, good, but at the same time, I'm visualizing how my cat is getting better, and like I was using like crystals and different kind of things where I just look at his body, and basically inside out, I could put my visuals in his body and focus on his heart, on his kidneys, on his whole body, and just like flow him with like lots of good energy, and I would like work with him. But next thing you know, 6 months later, he's as healthy as can be. And, just yesterday when I was like at my house, my cat was, let's say, jumping from this couch to that sort of place. He hasn't done it in a whole year, and he's now jumping and being a crazy little cat like he used to be when he was a kiddo. I'm loving that soon. So that is like my personal stuff with my cat. I've shared a few things like with visuals. Next thing you can do that I've actually used with helping other people and like taught them how to do it is revoking soul contracts. So basically, you look at like what is soul contracts? Like soul contracts can be done when like it's an agreement that you have before incarnating here on Earth, but at the same time we make agreements while we are living here on Earth. So like one is like soul contract will be like before we come on Earth, and then there's like agreements we have while we're here. That being said, everything is an agreement. You look at things, this is my hand. You sort of understand it as hand, you believe it, you see it, you perceive it. It's an agreement. All of your beliefs, perceptions, attitudes, all of that stuff is an agreement. So you look at, let's say, your animal that has issues, or maybe a person, and they told you like, hey, I have a headache. So you understand that person has a headache. Yes, I agree that they have a headache. It's an agreement. So basically what we do is like we look at a situation where, let's say, our cat or dog or someone else has issues. We might know what kind of issues they have. We might not. Let's say my animal is in a lot of pain. They have like a hard time walking. They're barely alive. They're hardly breathing. They're da 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 da. And you basically name what you see. Like the way you perceive the situation is what you want to write down. And let's say, okay, if I was to do a session for my cat, which I have not done yet, but let's say if I was to revoke those agreements, I would take either a piece of paper, or I would work on my PC and like pull out a notepad, or I would do the whole work like inside my mind. And so basically, I'm looking at the issue. Okay, he has a hard time jumping from one place to another. He's sleeping all the time, which is normal for cats, but he doesn't want any food. He doesn't eat. He doesn't drink. He doesn't socialize anymore. He's like not doing so good. He's like running away and everything else. Like I'm like just like I like name out everything that I see, and you can look at your puppy, and they have a hard time walking. They don't eat anymore and stuff, and you basically list out everything that you see, but be specific about what you see. Like don't write like this massive essay. No, just like one liners. She has a hard time breathing. He has a hard time walking. He da 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 da. And you name it being, like your animal or a person or whatever, and you focus on who it is and what's going on with them. And so you write down all that you see, like all the way you perceive the situation, the way you are experiencing this reality. And once you write down, basically you can look at the Cameron Day or maybe like Energy Bars, Rich West, like they all have their ways of removing it. But the main focus is, let's say, you can use the galactic vacuum to suck up all of these agreements, and it's important to revoke all the reinstatement clauses. Basically, these are the agreements that come back after revocation. Then we can remove any counterparty copies, which are like, agreements that other entities can have. So not only we're clearing out our own space, any kind of copies, duplicates, and all this stuff, but you can, like, let's say, okay, my puppy has arthritis. Okay, so my puppy has arthritis. That's an agreement. My puppy has a hard time walking. That's an agreement. She's like she doesn't eat anymore. Da 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 da. And you write it down. And so everything that you see, you write it down. And once you have a list, basically, you can pull out, like, I'm not sure if I have it right here with me, but you can pull out, let's say, Cameron Day, and look at, there's an article, why I am no longer a light worker, and I'm like part 2, and he's gonna have a whole list of commands to use. And so once you have the list, you are revoking agreements, and eventually, even your awareness, you don't actually have to follow the commands and the rules or everything. Your awareness about how you perceive the reality is enough. Once the awareness is like perceiving, like, okay, this is the truth, now I'm seeing it and know what it is, all you have to do is like, I don't agree with it anymore. And you, let's say, if the agreement had the shape of a paper or a document or a book, you imagine it being burned down. Like, you cancel it out, and you can use a galactic vacuum or a vacuum cleaner or whatever you want to suck up all the stuff that you've like cleared out and like got rid of. And so, you can basically use energy or different kind of things, but like revoking agreements of how you see the like situation. I've had like a few people who like did this like with my help, like okay, I'm helping them to look at the situation, and then they're writing down the agreements, and we go through that the commands. But the next day she writes me a like long email about like how like my dog has not walked like that much like throughout like 3 years, and like next day after our session she's like wants to go on for a walk and like wants to walk way more than usual. And like like seeing those wins, eventually it does not matter if what we do is real or not, imaginary, creative, all in the head or not. It does not matter. What matters is we do something that we believe in, and the end result is working. And so, eventually we stop putting labels if it's imagination or if it's real or not stuff, because that kind of stuff is more like controlled by like, okay, let's say the dark side wants to like work with our perception, and if they can control, like, okay, if you imagine it, it's not real, and so we're put out, oh, if it's an imagination, it's not going to work. And we basically, like put ourselves lower. Don't, like, like give yourself freedom to experience everything, where it's like, your creativity, your reality, your imagination, the dream, whatever you perceive. If you like it, you can create that reality and choose that's the way you're going, and literally, stuff can happen. So these are just a few things that you can use. There's plenty of other things, plenty of other things to do, like with like energy work. Let's say you look at your hands, for example, and then imagine all the energy from yourself flowing into your hands. But at the same time, when you put your hands up, you can actually feel as if the energy is coming to you. So you can imagine just this like massive healing energy flowing into your hands, and then you place it on the animal or person or something, and you just imagine all this stuff going through you. And let's say you can connect to the sun, which is going like up and then like you can connect to the earth, and the energy will come like from above and from below, and that energy connects, and now you have this like massive healing energy, and you can place it at your like puppy or something, and you can like just like allow that energy to like flow through you into the dog or a person or something, and just allow that being to heal. Imagine it work, feel it and stuff, and see what happens. Like, I'm not saying this is the miracle or cure and if everything and all this stuff, but it's just something that you can use and try out. Like, you know, like, hey, if you're desperate, if you don't have money, or maybe you have money and stuff, but you just like want to do something different, that's something you can try out. So I'm just like showing a few tips for you. It worked for me. It worked for me when I was working on myself, on other people, on my cat. I'm seeing wins. I'm seeing some other people win. It's all a matter of how we do it, and then doing from the process from like the beginning until the end. With, let's say, the positive stuff where we don't doubt ourselves, we don't put anything negative in there, and you know, just like perceive the situation the way you want it to see happening, like all the positive stuff, and then you know, like just like let it go. You did the work, let it go, and practice that as often as you want. But the thing is, literally, like, you can work on yourself. Like, if you have a headache, if you have a migraine, if you have crooked teeth or whatever, you can literally work every day as much as you want on imagining little things being inside your mouth, or maybe you're doing all the work and you feel like the pulling and stuff, and you can like straighten your teeth and different things. Like, look at Joe Dispenza and other people who have sort of like similar explanations, like maybe Jose Silva and stuff like that. Work with yourself, and you can do all the work to help yourself, help others, and you know, let me know if it works. Let me know what happens. And this is just a few tips, so hopefully you'll be able to use it and see some results from it. So just sharing that stuff. If you have any other questions or anything, let me know. I'll be like happy to answer. So thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.